So, you're thinking of killing your tenants, right? Well, I can't help you with that. You're going to have to do that all by yourself. What I can help you with is thinking about how to get good tenants. When you've got a property and you want to rent it out, you sort of want the best people to look after it, right? And pay you money for it. There's a couple of things that you can check, and there's a couple of decisions that you need to make. The first one is, do I want to manage it, or am I going to get somebody else to manage it? If I'm getting somebody else to manage it for me, I would need to find a good rental agent, basically a managing agent, who will handle a lot of the stuff for me. They will find the tenant, they will put the tenant in the property, collect rent, and then just pay me the money. Now, if you're starting out on property, this is probably a very good thing to start with. If you don't know what to look for, you might get a very bad tenant that ruins your property. So the other option that you have is doing it yourself. If you have some experience in this, that's great. But here's a couple of things that you need to ask for. If you're using a managing agent, have a coffee with them. Discuss with them how they decide who can rent your property. Ask them about fees. How much do they charge? Ask them, what do they do if the tenant doesn't pay? Also ask them, how do they handle it if something breaks? Do they handle ingoing and outgoing inspections? And what do they charge for that? This will give you a very good idea if you want to know how to rent the property yourself. Here's a couple of pointers if you do want to rent it out yourself. The first thing is always advertise that you will do a credit check on the person. That is the most important thing. Other things that you need to ask for include affordability, bank statements, payslips, and proof that they actually have a job. If they don't have a job, they're not going to pay their rent. You also need to ask for previous landlord references. This is just to make sure. Some of the people will tell you they are staying with a family member. Well, that's okay. Having said that, if their credit record is shot, they don't have a job, or even they're self-employed, it's a little bit of a red light. For beginners, I would not recommend them taking that. Here are some of the people that actually wanted to rent my property. They told me things like, my credit record is shot. I'm able to pay rent. You can see it on my bank statements. You are not coming into my property. Sorry. Another one that I found was somebody say, if you're happy, can I move today? I'm not comfortable with that. It just sounds a bit too urgent. It's almost like they have problems with their current place they're staying in, so they need to move immediately. Another one that I've had is somebody saying, I am under debt review, and the current place that I'm staying in is just too expensive, I can't afford it. Well, I'm not sure if that is going to be sufficient for my property. What if you can't afford my property because you've got people knocking on your door? No, not in my place. One thing to remember is that you're running your property as a business. This is not a little side hustle. This is a very big investment that you're making, and you need to make sure that you're going to handle this as a business. The actual question you need to ask is, how much control do you actually want over your property? Do you want to manage the property when the geyser breaks, or do you want somebody else to do it? If you're happy with the property just running by itself and you're not having any contact with anybody, it is really fine to use a rental agent, but they are going to take their cut. If you would like to have a little bit of a more hands-on approach on your investments, then doing it yourself really does give you a lot more information. It also helps attending the meetings and making sure that you know what's going on in your investment. So whether you decide then to use a managing agent or rent it out yourself, there are ways to reduce the risk of a tenant not paying. Thanks for watching. And now go. Happy investing.